So this has been a long-standing journey, and so I wanted to start out by sort of thinking about where we've been and where we are. And as much as the change is hard, I think we're actually at an exciting point to be at, and I think lots of good things are coming out of this process and will continue to come out of this process. So the most recent history is we hit the block with the German company. We generated a list of names. That list of names was unwieldy. Someone who was not Bess or Mike or I got the great idea, hey, Mike and Bess and Mark are all at Code for Live together. They should do this. So we got chartered with trying to thin out and refine the name. And we sat down and tried to apply the sort of the principles that we had set out at the initial process to go through the list, sort it, theme it, come up with a shorter list. We came up with a list of 24 names. That's the list that went out in a SurveyMonkey survey to the community. We got a list back from that. That gave us a short list of 4 names. Those names were not, this was more a process of elimination than a process of we love things. So there were lots of good comments and discussions. And my perspective is there are good reasons to rule any name out of the running. But there were 4 that sort of surfaced at the top of being the ones that seemed to have the most room and the most resonance. Those were Agora Repository, Samvera, Sophia, and Teneo. We have since, as the steering group, decided that there's enough overlap with other Agora-named projects in the cultural heritage space that would be problematic for us to move forward with that. So steering removed that from the list of consideration. So we're down to a short list of 3, which are, again, Samvera, Sophia, and Teneo. In the deck, if you want to look, there are the objective criteria and the subjective criteria that we tried to use. Some of them being simply there aren't already existing collisions or the name isn't in use or owned by someone. That was part of what took that list of 90 down to a much shorter list, is when we started looking, oh, look, there is a company, there is a product, there is something already with this name or this domain in use. Subjectively, things that could carry forward our existing brand identity. One of the things is we all have really strong associations with the Hydra brand. When I say Hydra, I'm not just thinking some abstract word. I'm actually thinking about the people in this room that I get to work with. I'm thinking about the quality of the code that we create and our passion for creating quality code. I'm thinking of the way we interact. I'm thinking of cool logos. I'm thinking of little stickers on the back of my machine. One of the challenges I've seen in this process is that none of the new things have any of that with them yet. And I think one of our challenges will be building those going forward. But I think that also, again, creates opportunity. I think one of the key things is actually just when we look at that list of names and there's no pictures that go with them and we don't have all those associations, right? A lot of the names feel really flat. We had a conversation in steering just this morning about how these things don't resonate for me. And I think part of the reasons they don't resonate is they don't have a sticker. If they had a sticker, they'd resonate more. And if we had used it to talk about Samvera Connect 2016, it would mean more to us. And if we talked about it in the context of the code that we're delivering and the challenges that we have as developers and the challenges that we have as managers, I think all of those conversations around any one of these words would cause those words to start becoming more resonant. My other observation is if you look at our subjective and our objective criteria, I'm not sure that Hydra would have passed our criteria if it were in the round new. So projecthydra.com, I think, is a very interesting website, and unless you think of software as meaning lingerie, I'm not sure it represents our brand well. Hydra itself, if you look it up as a definition, is either a monster or a fictional terrorist organization. Again, things that don't seem so. And I bring that up to say, even given those things, we have a really strong, really vibrant brand. So I think we can do that with the new name as well. We got to this stage of the process and realized through the long list and the short list and all of the objections that none of us are branding experts or design experts, and that it really might help to have someone with those expertise and just have someone with outside perspective. So at the end of the short list of 3, one of the decisions that the steering some outside help. So we talked to 3 organizations, at least 2 here in North America and 1 in the UK, I think, to sort of ask them to describe our process so far and say, do we need to just throw all this away and have somebody who knows what they're doing? One of the good things in that process was that the feedback we got was that, yeah, it's a wily, squirrely process, but you've actually done a lot of the legwork in the process in thinking about what you might want to name yourselves, thinking about why is really important. So actually embedded in the names that we came up with are lots of themes and ideas about who we think we are, and that those are useful things to go forward in a branding exercise. And that there is a really strong brand already, so we should really we should think about this as a renaming exercise, not as building a new brand. We're not changing who we are or what we do. We're ran into some unfortunate trademark issues, and we are finding a new name that represents all the things that we have, that we are and always have been. So one of the other, so back to and there's not for any of those new things to hook onto. One of the proposals made was that we think about the words that we have in conjunction with what some possible imagery might look like. And we think about all of those in conjunction with some short taglines of what we might think the brand is. So we have engaged Amy Rourke of VU Creative to help us through the rest of that process. For full disclosure, I was one of the people who had conversations with other people about this. I talked to my friend Chris Pollard, who is a marketing professional in the Twin Cities, and said, here's what we're doing and where we are. Can you recommend anyone? And that's how we got connected to Amy. So I don't know Amy directly, but she is in the Twin Cities, and I do know people who know her. So because of that, I'm also going to sit in the role of sort of communicating back and forth to her. Some of the things I like about Amy are that she has experience with this process for both big and small organizations, but most specifically, as we talked, for some social benefit organizations and some other organizations that sort of work in a nonprofit consortial way. So when I described to her some of the gathering input and some of the trying to reflect not just the thing, but who we are, those were discussions that resonated with her, and she seemed to have input and insight on how we go forward with that. So we've engaged Amy. I've given her a lot of the background about what we've done so far, including giving her all of our t-shirt designs in the past, showing her how we've remixed logos to use for Hydra Camp and Hydra Connect and put on thumb drives, shown her the new website design and the old website, so she has some ideas of the targets of where we use this, and also just some of the collateral material so she can read through and get a sense of like how are we presenting ourselves and help us distill that down to what are sort of some of the key themes that she's seeing as an outsider coming to, and how could we distill and heighten those with a new name, a new picture, and then some bullet points. So a lot of that work has been occurring already. Amy's in the process right now of actually putting together some possible imagery to go with each of the names, so that rather than picking a name and then picking an image for the name, I think that's what we had initially described as the process and initially envisioned. What she's going to do is create some possible images that might go with multiple names or might go with only one name. Steering will look at those and come up, either if one is so compelling, we'll just go with that because of timelines. If not, we'll have a short list from that and have some process to narrow that down. That will happen in basically the next 2 to 3 weeks. We'll finalize that selection in parallel. Right now, we actually have a lightweight search going on to make sure that none of the things on the short list are trademarks, because we don't want to get to, and we picked a name and we have a logo we love, and oh, look, that's already trademarked. So that legal process is going on in parallel. So hopefully by the time we get to having picked a final, there will be a fairly clear path to submit the trademark application and go forward. So by the end of April, we should have a name and a logo picked and have some brand collateral in terms of other bullet points about how we describe who the community is. And then in May will be a lot of the execution of actually submit the trademark, get that process going, look at the website, where do we need to update the high-level branding on the website, look at the wiki, are there places there, and as we're preparing all of this actually being worked, the timelines have been worked back from materials that we might want to present at open repositories and getting those things ready. So that's sort of been where we've been backing off from. The thing to keep in mind is that the request has been that we not use Hydra as the public-facing brand. So we have a 6-month request from the company who owns the trademark right now to have that work done. That does not mean that we need to go remove every reference to Hydra everywhere in our world. So references to Hydra in the code are perfectly fine. Historical references, so we do not have to find some solution to renaming the wiki pages about Hydra Connect 2016. Those are fine, they stay. Pictures of Hydra to those, but as we put out new materials, as we talk about the project and products going forward, the request is that by this summer, effectively, we have something new that we are presenting ourselves as. So that's my process in a nutshell.
I would assume that we would be renaming any of the sort of shared gems, GitHub organization, that sort of thing to align with the new name at some point. Is that not true?
I don't think we need to rename. There is no legal requirement to rename any of the gems. We might just for our own sanity want to rename Project Hydra Labs and Project Hydra and the Project Hydra GitHub repo to
Perhaps Hydra Head. We're not required to, but we may decide that we want to for just having the names follow.
Yeah, that is not right. That's a discussion we can have. That's actually not a requirement and doesn't fit in any of these timelines that we're legally obliged to meet.
How do you foresee the final selection from the shortlist going?
In my heart of hearts, I want Amy to come back to us with something saying, I've thought about this, and here's my list of reasons that this is the compelling thing, and look how easy it is to pick that thing. I'm guessing that she's actually going to come back with 2 or 3 really good options and show them to us, and steering's going to look at them, and I'm not sure, again, based on timelines, if we feel like there's something in there that is compelling enough, we'll just make that selection because we have to get the trademark process. I don't know how we open that out to more community participation and meet the timelines that we need to.
You mean that there has been at least one round of consensus with the steering committee?
Well, so there's been 2 rounds of consensus with the community of the long list.
Yeah.
The long list is unwieldy. Pulling the long list down to a shorter list, and that list we have sent out and gotten fairly thorough feedback on. And again, Amy's using all of that to inform her process.
I'm raising this only because of a concern. I like some of the names. If there is not enough excitement about the short list, maybe there should be a second chance to.
I'm concerned that we're never going to have the level of excitement about any of the new names right now as we do about the old name. And I challenge us. I think our work as partners, our work as steering, is to build that excitement on whatever we pick. I think one of the criteria is that the name has to be open enough for us to build the kinds of associations and connotations into it. And I honestly think that actually all 3 of the names that are on the list are open enough to do that. So I think we need to, because of timelines, because of other things on our plate, I think we need to refocus our energy once Amy comes back with a recommendation to saying, how do we make this as exciting and as important going forward, rather than does this at this moment resonate for me as much? Because it doesn't. When I say any of those names in my head, they're not associated with getting to work with all of us. Like I don't think of this table as being the Samvera partners. I don't think of downstairs being the Teneo Developer Congress yet, right? And those are the things that actually make Hydra powerful, and those are the things that make our brand resonate outside of our community. People see how we work together. People see what we produce.
So I think, and feel free to correct me, I think as part of the announcement of the names, there was also a call that if someone else is deeply inspired or there's a wellspring of support for a different name, people should throw that in. I think within steering, there's a feeling that was probably the time to begin converging that rather So if there's something that you love and that everyone loves, you should probably tell us, because that will shorten this process.
I throw one extra in.
Yeah, so I think, email.
When that call did go out,
Steering
so
if-
far no other names have actually come in, right? That was actually part of